Hey squad, it's your Squid, aka the Anxious Squid here at Anxious Squid Productions. If this is the first video you've stumbled across of mine, it's actually part 2 in a multi-part series, so you may want to go into my motorsport playlist and find part 1. If you just watched part 1 and now you're ready for part 2, I'm going to get right into it. But as always, big shout out to my patrons, they're awesome. You could be a patron of mine as well, please consider it, blah blah blah. Let's get into it. Thanks for your patience waiting for part 2, guys. As I said in part 1, this is a documentary on Petty Blue. It's on the Petty family. So far we've learned about Lee Petty and we've learned about moonshining in general and what life was like in North Carolina for the Petty family and what they did to get by and all that sort of stuff. It's a really cool documentary with like lots of really good cinematography and like it's a really well-made documentary. I like it a lot. And Richard Petty is one of the main people speaking and stuff as well. So it's really good to have that real in and under perspective of their family, you know. So let's get back into it.
I never thought about driving a race car.
We'll go back 10 seconds. They're at Niagara Falls. That's where we left them.
All through my school years, I never thought about driving a race car. I said, you know, hey, my dad's driving, he'll drive forever. Never thought about him not driving. So I wanted to be the crew chief on my dad's car. When I was like 18 years old, I said, hey, Dad, you know, they got some of these guys that's 18, 19 years old running. I want to drive a race car. He looked at me and he said, come back when you're 21. See, you'll do a lot of learning from the time you're 18 to you're 21.
Absolutely. It's 10 years in that 3-year age bracket.
Young Richard Petty can only wait and wait and wait.
After I got out of school, then I was kind of hot rodded around, had a hot rod car and raced up and down the road. My brother was going to school, and his girlfriend and Linda were both cheerleaders, and I went to all the games.
And one night Richard just jumped in the car and said, I'm going with Morris to take y'all home.
I think I had a little girl out sparking over on the side here somewhere, and I think she had a boyfriend. You know what I mean? And so it just happened.
He was zooming in on me, but I was being very leery of him, being an older guy, you know. But it didn't take long for me to think he was a pretty super nice guy.
Smooth.
Sometimes we go to a drive-in to get something to eat, and he's like, whatever you want to eat, just order it. And oh my goodness, the hamburgers were always delicious.
It just worked. I mean, it was just a deal. After a while, then we just got to be a pair.
I was going to get married when I got out of school, and he said to me one day, he said, we need to go ahead and get married because I'm going to start racing and I'm going to be gone a lot. And I want you to be my partner.
And she said, okay. You know, she's
okay.
17 years old, you know, and still in high school. So we said, okay, we're going to do this.
I knew in my best mind that was not the right thing for me to do right then. But anyway, finally we ran off.
Well, we did get married, and I told her, I said, you know, you got to remember this. I said, racing is number 1.
And if you try real, real hard, someday you can be number 2.
Fucking hell.
She looks back, she said, man, was I innocent.
I was young and stupid. And I said, oh, I'll just be happy being number 2. So that's where I've been all my life, just number 2.
I mean, she said it with a smile. She can't be that unhappy about it, you know. But, yeah, I'm not sure that'd fly these days.
I was 21 years old. I went to my dad and said, okay, I want to drive a race car. Well, he said, there's a car over in the corner. I was a raw rookie. I had never been in a race car with a helmet on and a seatbelt hooked up and tried to run fast. It was a challenge of doing something on your own without any help. Okay, they give you a car, they give you
Walk on your own 2 feet.
And it's your responsibility. You're 100%. You can get on the brakes, you can get on the gas, you can turn left, you can turn right.
Master your own destiny now.
I felt like I had more control over what I wanted to do and what I could do than any other time in my life. You know, when we first started running, my dad was at the top of the heap and I was at the bottom of the heap. I don't know,
Bookends
half a dozen races
for the competition.
we ran together. And one of them was a 150-mile race at Lakewood Speedway in Atlanta.
Is it a lake in the middle of the track? That's cool.
We ran all day and the place is really dusty and dirty. They flagged me the winner. I had never won a race, okay? So this is great, man. Somebody comes up and says, hey, somebody's protested the race. And I said, what did we do wrong? They said, well, they think they run more laps than you did. And turned around there and it was my dad.
Yeah.
Richard's mother scored his dad's car, and sure enough, when they went back and rechecked, they found out that Richard's daddy did win the race, that Richard didn't win it. And Richard was so upset with his daddy. I mean, that was a win for him.
That's rough.
It was a shock, really, that it would have given Richard an opportunity to win that early in his career, and yet his dad said, nope, you didn't win it, I did. And
Well, I mean, I guess you...
from a father-son standpoint, you say, well, you know, you want your son to do better than you did, but at the same time, you want to be fair.
Yeah, you don't want him to
This was the petty.
get a leg up, but at the same time...
The cost of racing. This was how Lee had become a 2-time champion. Nobody had won more races. He was his sport's first king.
All right, mate.
But in 1959, a new era in NASCAR had begun. With concrete turns 3 times taller than the Petty's home, the Daytona International Speedway offered unbridled horsepower.
Have a listen to the score. Setting the tone.
And you're a 21-year-old kid coming in, never seeing the racetrack. It looked like it was 15 miles down to the first and second corner. Man, that was a big racetrack.
Fucking look at that banking.
You know, it was just a monster.
There was no catch fence there. Oh, how many cars went flying off before they put a catch fence in?
What the hell is this?
Fuck.
It was just a monster.
That tells a story, doesn't it?
It scared the hell out of me, I'll put it that way. And that
Yeah, I'll bet.
scared me, it scared everybody that come down in through that tunnel. Because
Yeah, I'll bet.
we run half a mile, quarter mile, and maybe a mile track now and then. And we look up there and see this monster, you know what I mean? And God, people's eyes popped out of their head. And so I said, well, to myself, I said, those fellas ain't got no more experience running this dang race car than I have. And so I said, I'll just get in there and I'll run wide open.
That's it. That's it, man. Like, I often get people thinking I'm a cocky bastard, right? I mean, and I am a bit of a cocky bastard, but I buy into that theory as well. If there is a human that can do it, if there is someone that can do it, I'll back myself in to do it as well. You know what I mean? They might have more experience than me, or they might have more knowledge than me, but once I get that experience and knowledge, I should be able to do what they did as well. We're all humans. You know, if them, why not me? At the same time, you know what I mean? Like,
In the first Daytona 500,
every single person who is the most experienced and best person in their field started out at nothing. So if you're at nothing, you're equal with where they were at some point, right? So just do it, you know? As Shia LaBeouf says, just do it. But anyway.
Neck and neck.
And so I said, I'll just get in there and I'll run wide open. That's what it did.
In the first Daytona 500, Lee and Johnny Beauchamp barreled neck and neck toward the checkered flag.
Fucking hell.
The checkered flag. Both Petty and Beauchamp fought in the identical time.
Immediately after the race, Beauchamp was declared the winner. Lee protested.
Happy on the protest, Lee Petty.
The photo snapped at the finish line would take...
Is that where the term petty came from?
On
I doubt it,
Wednesday, the front
but-
pages revealed that the defending NASCAR champ was the first champ of the Daytona 500.
You.
2 years later, father and son were back to reconquer Daytona. But the track of the family's greatest triumph became the site of catastrophe.
Oh, someone's gonna die, aren't they? Oh, someone told me about this. Is it Richard Petty? No, it's not. Richard's been talking. I'm a dumbass. It's somebody dies, a grandson or something, doesn't he? Oh, fuck, I'd forgotten all about that.
And went over the first corner, went out of the ballpark.
Jeez Louise.
Just as I walk out of the infirmary, it said Lee Petty just went over to turn 3 and 4 walk.
Fuck me. Fuck. Oh man, these videos are gonna get demonetized. Well, this one especially is gonna get demonetized maybe, but you want my genuine reaction, so that's what you get, you know what I mean? Look at them crawling up the banking too. That's... He's moving at least.
To the hospital.
There's a bit of blood there though.
They said, we don't think your daddy's gonna live. Said that it's gonna be touch and go.
I went in to talk to him. He was about half conscious, and all just tore all the pieces cut up everywhere. The ribs broke, the punctured lung, just his leg all busted off, just hanging there. And he looks up and he said, okay. He says, y'all going home, going up to the Plymouth dealer and buy a new car.
He's more worried about the car.
That day was gone. We had nothing but mangled sheet metal to load up.
He was inside that.
Send back home. But we left there that Monday, and we did not know if his daddy would live or die. There was 2 or 3 of the people that had worked for us, and they felt like his daddy was going to be gone, and they quit. So eventually, when Mars came home, there wasn't anybody but Mars and Richard.
All of a sudden, it was on a 23-year-old kid and his 21-year-old brother.
Fucking hell, that's big shoes to fill too.
I don't remember. You know, you just done what you had been taught to do, and that's what you done.
Nobody knows what they can do till they put under the gun, okay, and then you either produce or you don't. And the toughest part was we wasn't doing too good. That made it really, really tough to be able to come up with enough money to get to the next race.
Well, you drove a great race. What happened down there?
I lost all the old brakes. I think I must have burned a barrel on the front.
Burn a ring on the engine.
All through 61, he just struggled and struggled and struggled. It was a terrible year.
It's a lot of responsibility to put on the young lad.
Positive attitude that he would make it work. He wanted to race, and he was willing to do whatever it took. And Mars did too. They just persevered. And that's what it takes. That's how people succeed. They don't throw in the towel.
Fucking A.
This is Bob Smith of WNDB Sports Department at the hospital bedside of Lee Petty,
I like her.
famous stock car driver from Randleman, North Carolina. Lee, as you know, is presently recovering from injuries received in a race here at Daytona Beach on February the 24th. Lee, how are you today?
Bob, I'm feeling real good, and I'm glad you was able to come over today because I think I feel better today, and I want to say hello to all my friends, and plus I'm looking forward to this particular race, and maybe Richard will win it to make me feel lots better.
Lee Petty, we want to thank you very much for allowing us to come into your hospital room here today.
Bob, it's really been a pleasure that I was able to do this for you, plus all the friends and the people over the radio throughout the country today.
Lee spent 4 months in a Daytona hospital. While the wreck didn't end his life, it ended his driving career. The future of Petty Enterprises was put into the unproven hands of a 23-year-old Richard.
Well, I mean...
Lee became the boss man, but the family business soon became less about family and more about business.
That doesn't sound great.
Business. He hired me as his driver, and he expects me to win. So you don't go over and pat the guy on the back hey man, you done a good job. That's what I hired you for. That's the way he looked at it. When we didn't do good.
So he's looking at him as like a
a
boss-employee relationship rather than a father-son relationship, which for a 20-odd-year-old kid who's just trying to step in and fill his father's shoes and make it fucking work for the family and everything like that, probably a little bit harsh, you know, from my perspective, but different times, a different day, you know what I mean? I'm going to pause this timer so it doesn't, like, start bleeping at us. But, yeah, that'd be a hard dichotomy, like, that'd be a hard flip, you know what I mean? From watching your dad as a driver, doing real well, seeing him throw himself into the stratosphere off the corner at Daytona, and then suddenly now you're the big wig in behind the wheel and he's you know, cracking the whip. That'd be a different dynamic to get used to, you know?
Richard would come in on a Monday, and his daddy would start like, well, what was wrong with that car yesterday? What was wrong with you yesterday? He didn't pay you compliments for anything you done good. It was always...
Yeah, good was expected, bad was...
It wasn't good.
Alright, I'm going to pause this one here, and we will move on to part 3 together, if this orange dot wants to work with me. And so, yeah, that was part 2. This is going to be a multi-part series, the Petty Blue documentary. There's, you know, how long have we got to go? Let's check. We've done about a half hour into an hour and a half so far, so we're doing all right on the two-parter, but 2 parts so far, but it's a multi-part. You'll know how many parts it is in the end. But yeah, big shout out to my patrons, as always. They're the bee's knees. They're the greatest. They help me survive in these uncertain times and whatnot. If you want to help me survive as well, feel free to do so. I'm going to move on to part 3 now. But yeah, if you're watching this, if this was the first video of mine you've stumbled across, I need your help. Hit subscribe. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as I can. I've got a goal, a lofty goal of about 5,000 before the end of 2020. It was lofty when I set it, but it looks like I might hit it if I keep hitting the targets I'm hitting along the way and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I can't do it without people like you who stumble across my videos, decide they like me, then hit that subscribe button. So do me a solid. And yeah, if you're watching this in the future, they'll all be uploaded. So go and watch number 3 now. I'll see you there. But if you're watching this as they come out, it'll be uploaded soon. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you when I look at you, and you'll see me when you look at me.